I'm going to be biased today, but yeah, Mega couldn't do it because it's the first week. Let's see if this is 4 weeks. This is 4 weeks in, so we'll see how it goes for this game.
Oh boy. We'll see here. Win's going to be on the blue side. Steel Wolves on red side to start things off here for our first draft of our series. We'll see what the teams want to try and prioritize and what they want to try and pick up here immediately. We'll see whether or not Win want to try and lock down a very, powerful duel up and toward the top lane and jungle like we've seen before, or do they want to try and get Kagame on something a bit more stable, like a Sivir or something they can just farm up?
I think they're going to try and get Kagame on the safest champion in the East. Try and get him on Ezreal or something. It hasn't worked out for him, but they keep putting him on very safe champions. For Steel Wolves, I really want to see if they can just attack bottom lane, because Vantu's been able to do it before. YJY and Sly are very successful in doing that. Pain and Azure can try and neutralize lanes. I don't think top lane is going to be neutralized. I think when you're going into a lane against Shadow with Libero in his back pocket, you're going to be put behind. You're going to be put behind one way or another. So I'd like to see if Vantu and Pain can work together to try and attack the bottom side of the map against Kagame and Watcher Jess, because that seems to be the weak link of Win right now. If you could take away one of the key players of Kagame, then maybe you have an avenue of attack towards them in the late game. So what I would like to see is priority towards YJY's champion pool, priority towards Sly, as well as Vantu's champion pool to get ganking lanes in the bottom side of the map, or good lanes in the bottom side of the map, and then take away some of those key picks on the top side that can just completely shut down Azure as well as Vantu, not allowing them to get that lead going in the bottom side.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you mentioned, like, if they could capitalize on the advantage they get during the early game from the bottom lane, it'll be fine. However, the Kalista, though, if Win doesn't even ban Kalista, I think they don't find that bottom lane as much of a problem as we think they would.
Well, they've been often relying on, Shadow and Libero having to come down later on. So, and we have seen them do that before, where
it's Mega. That's how they beat your team.
It's
like, you know what, Duel? You can get all the CS in the world. It's fine. You can go 200 up. It's okay. We'll just kill you at 25 minutes. Oh my God, there's a drill.
Oh no. My God. No.
Oh boy.
The Typhoon coming back? I can hear a drill.
Oh no. We'll see
I guess
here.
Someone's going to prove me wrong.
Let's take a look at the bans so far, boys. Take a look here. It looks like Win actually opted not to ban. They might have been penalized. Maybe one of their players showed up late. Sometimes you can lose a ban there, or also might be just a graphic issue on our end. But the Hecarim and Thresh being banned out here by Win, very, just directed bans rather than picking, saying, we don't care what you pick.
And that's exactly what we were talking about. The way for Steel Wolves to win this game is to get Vantu and Sly on good champions to work well with YJY to dominate bottom lane. Vantu's pocket pick is Hecarim, Sly's pocket pick is Thresh. So Win taking those two away makes sense. Not banning a champion, either they were taken, that ban was taken away from them, or they're absolute muppets, and I think it's the latter. But I like what Steel Wolves have done here. Steel Wolves have actually taken away a lot of the top side of the map too. Elise being taken away, key ganking jungler from Libero being taken away. Do not give Libero or Shadow Silas. It just means you're dead.
Yeah.
And do not give Shadow Camille, because you're just dead. But he's still got something even stronger.
Yeah, getting that Aatrox, and he had a great performance on the Aatrox last week that we saw, especially during those bot lane fights when they were teleporting in. That did leave up, though, the Karma, and to remember, guys, we are still on 9.14.
Leaves up Olaf as well. I'd like to see Vantu just go straight towards that pick and says, you know what? Now with Elise gone, I could take the highest priority jungler when it comes to early game counter jungling and try and see if that's enough to stop Libero. But of course, they don't listen to me. You know why? Yeah, you just pick your corky. Why don't you? Come on.
Well, yeah.
Now Libero's going to pick it and they just lose.
Oh, boy.
Unless Libero wants to try something new.
He doesn't really need to. We've seen him on Lee Sin before as well, and Olaf. Yeah,
but Olaf would be a very good choice for either of them.
Would be.
Yep.
Or they could just go Yuumi.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much champions to choose from. Yeah, in this patch especially, you can't really ban all the priority champions like Olaf and Yuumi.
What they should pick up here is Yuumi and Sivir, because then it gives Kagame a good lane. Yuumi and Sivir work very well together to push in lanes effectively. They synergize very well when it comes to the mid-game team fights. We'll be able to buff up both Libero as well as Shadow. Of course you're not going to pick Sivir, Kagame! Of course you're not!
They say, hey, we like a true shot barrage. We like a little bit of poke. If they have a Corki, we need some poke too.
No! Give them the Corki Ezreal. That's completely fine. Pick Sivir Yuumi in the bottom lane, and suddenly you can push in Ezreal, and if it's Karma down there, even better. You just push them in underneath the turret. Suddenly you don't have to face that CS deficit anymore. Now YJY can pick us up even stronger.
Right, so Sivir is open up to Steel Wolves as well.
Yeah, no, you could just take Sivir and Karma at this point. if
I
you're
want to
Steel.
see them just go Tristana right now.
You wanna
Just
see the
rocket jump
Tristana?
on Yumi's face.
Okay.
Oh.
Kalista is still available, though.
Right.
That's been the pocket go-to for YJY. This time, though, you are against Win. And you're going against an Ezreal, so he should, in theory, play rather safe back. He shouldn't be giving that many kills over. I don't know if we'll be seeing an insane amount of kills that we saw from YJY before, but it is going to get locked in.
I also think that this means it's going to be a Karma solo lane, so probably top lane, or they can put Corki in the top lane. We've already seen it once in the LST, because Slide doesn't really want to be on a range champion when YJY is playing Kalista. He wants to be in something engage heavy, like his Thresh that was banned away by Win. And it does make more sense to go on something engage heavy when you're up against Ezreal Yuumi. Because if they get Nautilus here, if Sly manages to sneak in Nautilus, that bottom lane is done. Especially thinking that Libero and Shadow are going to play so topside heavy, Nautilus can just throw out his hook every single time it's off cooldown and just keep fishing for damage onto both Ezreal as well as Yuumi. So I'd like to see Steel Wolves make that pivot with the flex pick, but knowing them, they're not. And they'll probably pick something like, I don't know. Who's the top laner? Pick me any random top laner. Cannon. There you go.
See a cannon.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen.
Mix in a cannon there.
There's going to be a
Mix in a
zero on
cannon.
cannon again.
I, for one, Rez, am happy, though, to see Steel Wolves save us from the LST, not Kalista, Sejuani. Currently.
Right,
I have a fun
yeah.
fact for you. Currently, went back on all the VODs there, bud. On average, on camera, we only see 1 out of 5 to 4 Sejuani ultimates actually hit.
Yeah, it's pretty...
Most of them were missed by Thai teams. How do you feel about
yeah. I mean, well, yeah. I have nothing to say about that. Stuff just happens in my country, okay?
It just happened.
It just happens. But anyways,
boy.
Vladimir getting bad. I'm gonna change the topic right now. Olaf is still out there.
Yeah,
if
he's-
Steel Wolves wants to play him.
Yeah, you still have Olaf. Lots of top lane bans actually coming out here on the side of Win, so there's still the possibility that they can flex this Aatrox.
Lock it in and call me the prophet.
The super hard engage support.
Either that or you go Leona, but Leona isn't really played right now.
Or Nautilus!
Or Nautilus, yeah.
Or
Nautilus is
I
much
think
better,
Nautilus-
actually. But they go with we go for the cow. There's
Yeah.
the cow ball.
It also draws out 2 bans coming out from Win, which is pretty cool. They weren't expecting the support to be flexed, so Karma is going to go into a solo lane. If I'm not wrong, she has a decent time against Aatrox top, so it could be against Aatrox, but this would completely change it if that's what Win are going for as their pick.
Yeah, you could go for a ton of flex now in this composition. Can throw that Akali wherever you want to go into.
Right.
Does mean you're going to have a melee matchup into that Corki, though, so, not necessarily the funnest time, but still you can play around it.
It should be a Kali top, because Arhedge is a Aatrox player. So I'm expecting Shadow to pick up the Akali in the top lane, and we'll see Arhedge pick up the Aatrox in the mid lane.
Still, though, here, no Olaf favoring that Lee Sin combo that we saw with the combo before here. This time, though, Libero going to be assisting the Akali. See if it gets locked in. It's going to tick down here. So Lee Sin in the jungle now for Win, and that's going to round out their composition. Olaf's still available here for Steel Wolves. They want to pick it up, but looking at this composition, maybe you like to have some follow-up there, maybe something that could go for some early ganks early. That Jarvan could fit the bill.
Right. I mean, since they also banned the Sejuani, which has, always been the pair, Jarvan Sejuani matchup, they ban away Sejuani. It also makes sense to pick a Jarvan as well. But I still think that an Olaf would do much more. Like, it would make much more impact during the early game.
I would have liked Olaf for the side of Win, but I think the Jarvan pick coming out here from Steel Wolves is really smart, because they already have good engage coming out from Karma just being able to buff up the team, and Kalista being able to throw Alistar into the back lines or into the front lines. But you need a second reliable crowd control that's good for initiation, and Jarvan brings that. He's got the dueling potential, in the mid game, so he synergizes well with the ranged champions of Karma and Corki if a skirmish takes place top side of the map. And then when it comes to late game, if the LST combo is not used for initiation, he can also initiate these fights. So it's a very well-rounded draft to make up for the fact that it's 2 ranged champions in the solo lanes.
Well, we'll have to see here. We're going to be loading on into game 1. Steel Wolves pretty much showing here. Put a lot of eggs in their basket for YJY and Pain here. You're going to be heavily relying on this Kalista and Corki. We'll see whether or not they can pull it off, as we're going to go ahead and load on into the Rift for game 1 of our first series of the night.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Nice calm night here on the Rift for Sunday.
Right.
A little nicer than our walks home last night, I'll say that.
A lot better. I mean, a lot better than upstairs as well.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Ah, there's Sly.
Bong, 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 bong. Nice calm evening, Opal. Bong, bong.
Like that moment right where Opal said it's a nice calm evening. The
Hey.
observer decides to move on to Alistair.
No. I
best
prefer
skit
that
ever
over,
made.
you know, the drilling overhead. I'll say that. I'll take that any day.
That's true.
Besides, that's just the greatest song in League of Legends right now is the cowbell sound. Well, let's see here. Zero going to take a little chunk of damage away from Shadow. Should be able to get out just fine here. Shadow still like skin.
Why did
that level 1 is actually not too bad.
Why did Azure step back
What?
in? Oh,
Azure,
Azure.
he keeps walking
Do you
forward.
understand how Karma works?
Okay, there we go. Tether's going to come back down. Overall,
Oh.
Shadow will have to burn one of his pots.
He's a melee champion. He'd be perfectly fine about that. Azure does get some kleptomancy.
It was all part of the plan here. He got 2 kleptomancies. He's got 2 potions.
Look at this.
But there's an early
Cheeky.
gank from
Cheeky.
Bansu. Super cheese. Is it gonna actually happen though?
Oh, he's trying. They're trying to lure Shadow just a little bit closer, but the wave's pushing against him, so they might try and go for the wraparound here. If not, though, Vansu's wasted a lot of time up here.
Right, but there's no deep ward, so I think his jungle is still safe from Lee Sin, from Libero, so there's no invasion going on there
He
as well
just-
from the blue side.
He just loses so much tempo because now he's only just started his Krugs, whereas Libero has done both red buff and Krugs. So he's going to be able to take this blue faster than Java can finish his Krugs. He'll hit level 3 first. He'll have double buff. So if he tries to contest this top side Scuttle, Java will lose. And then he'll have jungle priority. He can just go down towards bottom side, take
He'll
another
try.
camp for himself. And Vansu's really trying for this gank top lane. So if Lee Sin comes up now, suddenly that 2-on-2 is in favor of Win. Shadow just needs to soak up a bit more experience to hit level 3 first.
And on top of that, too, it's still pushing into Shadow. Shadow, though, is going to spot this out, has the flag dry, gets the knock up here. That's going to be first blood. Meanwhile, mid lane, though, our hedge looking for the solo kill on Pain. Pain does get back to safety, still has flash available.
Oh, that corrupting potion saved his life, but on the top lane though, that was a very nice gank by Vansu. Like, you know, the wait paid off. I guess.
Yeah. If he wasn't able to actually get a kill there, he would have been just pretty much been worthless the entire time. So
He does sacrifice a lot of jungle tempo, like we were talking about. Like, there you go. That's the Scuttle Crab gone. 2 buffs have already been picked up by Lee Sin, and Jarvan only just hit level 3, so he's behind. But I like what Steel Wolves have done. Instead of attacking the bottom lane, which is the weaker side, they've just let YJY and Slide do that for them and get some good damage onto the bottom lane, push in aggressively there, and then attack the top lane instead. Oh, Kagame going to take so much damage from that rip.
take a little bit of damage. Does have the Yuumi on top. Meanwhile, here comes Libero, not able to land the shockwave, but here we go. YJY stepping up forward. They're going to get the knockback onto Libero, now switching targets. Here comes the Aatrox, though, from mid lane. It's going to be a 4v5, and they just take down Libero in time, but at what cost? You're going to lose 2 members of your squad. It's going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Win.
But still, you can see it again. Steel Wolves 2-on-4, and they still pick up a kill in return. Yeah, it goes in favor of Win, but that's how much resources they had to expend just to try and keep Kagame and Wata just ahead in that bottom lane, who are still behind in CS here.
Right. I mean, that also comes with a good decision making from YJY as well, where he already knows that he's not going to make it, decides to just go in for the full-on trade. And yep, that was totally worth it.
He does also stop the tempo advantage that Libero had, so now he's gone back to base. He was forced back to base, sorry, and that means that Vansu could get in, steal the jungle camp away, and now the jungle is fairly even. Vansu's slightly behind on experience, but when he ticks over to level 4, the gap between 3 and 4 is much smaller than 4 and 5. They'll be able to farm perfectly evenly. They should be able to go toe-to-toe in some of these skirmishes. But a good play coming out from Steel Wolves bottom lane to neutralize the 4-man threat dive that was so early on.
Let's take a look here at Libero, though. He might be looking to sneak his way over, waiting for the cooldown. There it is. Azure a little far forward, but he has a Karma, so if he's got the Mantra up, he should be able to get back to safety, but he's still pushing in. Shadow's baiting him down. Sure, you're going to get that quick snare, and they just take down Shadow immediately. Now Libero wants to try and at least trade back a kill. Gets the slow, but honestly, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do much here. Azure's going to get all the way on top of this.
Wow. That was very risky play from Shadow, actually. He decides to initiate too fast.
Do you want to know what happened? Do you want to know? Shadow didn't read the bloody patch notes.
Oh.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what happened. He thought he could bait out the tether with the shroud going completely visible.
Yeah.
But now you're still visible through True Sight and just got absolutely bopped.
Well, on top of that, too, if you still get rooted, the particle still shows up temporarily. So you're still not going to be able to avoid the follow-up there. Meanwhile, we do see Steel Wolves able to also claim a Mountain Drake, but here comes the Bureau and Arhedge once again trying to make something happen here. Sly way too low at this point. Doesn't have level 6 just yet, so he's going to get taken down. It
seems like both teams are working on the opposite of what we were discussing earlier, actually. Steel Wolves are working on the top lane, while Win eSports are working on more on the bottom lane.
And I like this from Steel Wolves because it's a very aggressive way to shut down the strong side coming out from Win. I don't like this coming out from Win. I felt that Kagame, as well as what the Jets have shown, that even though they're not great in lane, they can still contribute well in fights as well as skirmishes later in the match. So they can fall 100, 200 CS behind, but they still do, an okay damage share for their team. Whereas if you shut down Shadow and Libero, that's it. That's going to be lights out for Win. Same thing here. I don't think helping out Kagame and what the Jets is the answer. I felt like accelerating Shadow and Libero, who are on 2 very aggressive champions as well, of Lee Sin and Akali, would be much better.
There you go. You had yourself a quick Hextech flash out there from Sly.
He's in trouble. He's in trouble.
He's trying. Oh, what the Jez? You can't be soaking up that much damage. The Ren stacks follow through, even if you go onto a champion. So an easy pickup there, and this Kallista's starting to get rolling.
Wow, and now the bottom lane, though.
Oh, look at this. Libero's trying to... Oh, Vansu maybe a bit too far forward. Does flash out, but he's already dead at that point. So Win do trade back a quick kill as Vansu was trying to greed there for the scuttle.
And that's what we expect. Trade on the top side in favor of bottom lane. YJY is going to be able to pick up these kills, and he's 20 CS ahead, by the way. Just focus on getting Shadow and Libero ahead. Those are your 2 main carries, and you've got a really good 1-3-1 later on in the competition. Put Akali as well as Aatrox in side lanes and just have Ezreal, Yuumi, and Lee Sin clear out the waves in the mid lane. Perfectly fine. You know what would have done that better? Sivir.
You're still not over Sivir.
Yeah, why did I not pick Sivir? Hello!
He isn't wrong here.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, it's a better pick. But maybe preferences, I guess. Right? He might just like Ezreal.
They have been playing a lot of the
You know what? He's wrong.
I know. Gotta love the English broadcast.
It's great.
It's great. It's great. Just listening to Fish, like, why don't you pick Sivir?
Oh, just wait till a fight happens where both teams messed up and we get to the replays. We get to play pick your champion.
Pick something. You name a player in the game, and Fish will tell you what he did wrong.
Oh,
that's great. It's a lot of fun. It's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but there's no money.
right.
There's no winners.
So the only way to do that is to wait for a team fight, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and wait for something
wait
miserable
for
to happen.
You'll know, because you'll even
Okay.
be like, okay, that wasn't a nice team fight. Vansu once again up here toward the top lane. There, though, has been showing that he could just solo this at this point. Shadow does get outranged, wants to jump back in, doesn't hit the Q. Goes back into the cloak there. Zerk can still get a little bit of damage, though, if he's a little too predictable there.
Which, by the way, do you know what's going wrong in this top lane?
Yes, Fish?
Akali is ahead in CS by a large amount.
Yeah, that's the only thing here for Azure is, sure, you've gotten yourself like the 1 and 2 kills, but has not been able to really materialize into an overall advantage. If anything, I'd say probably Akali's still level on gold.
Look, Steel Wolves were ahead by 1,000 gold, and since the laning phase has been extended, they're now behind. Like, that's how drastic these lanes are going top side of the map. Miro is out farming in the jungle. Akali is ahead in CS. So only really mid lane and bottom lane that are behind right now. Kagami by a large amount. Our Edge not by too much.
And you also got to factor in our Edge too. He's got 2 assists too to make up that little bit of gold difference. We've seen the Aatrox roam bot multiple times. So overall, gold still, I think if you're win right now, you're not too worried.
Right. I mean, the only part that they would be worried about is that if YJY manages to pick out any more kills from Kagami or What the Jess. Because that was very kind of disrespectful from What the Jess, actually, because like, he was soaking up all the damage and just, yeah, it's just too much for him to handle.
So here we got Rift Trail being started up by Win. It doesn't look like anyone on Steel Wolves is going to be nearby. You do have a Corki, but he is going to be able to steal that one away. So it goes in favor of Win, and they'll have that available if they want to try and cheese away one of the early turrets before turret plating goes down. Again, we still got 3 minutes until the plates leave the rift. So we'll see if whether or not they want to try and strike at one of these lanes here. Usually that's the go-to from Win. Immediately get that Rift Trail, try and find 1 or 2 kills, and then knock down a turret.
Yeah, and it's normally targeted towards the solo lane. So you can see that right there. Just immediately going, okay, we're fighting Azure. Rift Trail's going to come in. Let's dive in.
Oh, there we go. Kick and instantly deleted. Shadow able to pick up the kill, and we talked about this before. Win and for Win, Shadow and Libero coming out from the LDL. That's a very much an LDL style of play. You go for that quick turret dive at 9 minutes, get yourself the first brick gold. They will trade here for the Cloud Drake in the bot side of the map.
And this is what I'm a little bit confused by, because what Win have usually done is they've pushed through after these plays and taken the second turret. But given that Libero and Shadow have been put behind on the top side of the map for majority of this match, they're not able to push through here, although it is a very slow response coming out from Steel Wolf. Shadow might just get some damage himself.
Yeah, Azura did not use teleport there. Wants to save the teleport.
Corki's coming up though. Shadow's dead.
Oh, Shadow. We'll see here. There's 3 people. Pain on the Corki.
He just wants
jumps
the turret.
over. He's just going to go for the tower. Shadow, can he actually get it? He will. So 2 towers for 1 Akali. I think Win are happy.
What does it keep happening? Every Win game, they get Rift Trail to just take 2 turrets. They don't care. Win.
They don't care what they give up.
It's so worth it. Oh, YJY taking a lot of damage here.
Here we go. Sly, though, goes for the re-engage. Able to stop the ultimate, but...
I mean, you can't hit those Qs.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't miss those Qs.
Oh, Sly, oh, here we go. They want to try and jump in. They're going to hold on there. Sly just using it for safety. Even some question pings coming out here. True Shot Barrage almost able to take down Sly. Sly's got to be very careful at this point. No Arcane Shift available up until now, so Kakame not going to be able to actually finish off the kill.
Right, so Win starting to get the lead now, you know, for 2,000 gold. And it's just turning, the game's just slowly turning on their side.
Slowly? Did you see that bottom lane fight?
I'm trying to be nice, man.
It's like I visited a nursing home and it was full of those ancient turtles. Like, not even old people anymore, just turtles. Like,
Wait.
you've got an Ezreal and a Callista, but it still looked like it was moving slower than a 1940s motion picture. I don't know what was going on right there. That was a disaster of a fight. Both teams should be ashamed of themselves right now.
Yeah, I don't know, because it looks like
amazing.
Sly, like with no Arcane Shift available, you almost want to go in off that
Yeah,
Callisto
flash!
ultimate. Yeah.
Flash on their face! They have 2 hit points. You flash right click and they die. It's that simple, really.
That's simple. Steel Wolf's going to go ahead and pick up the Scuttle Crab. Maybe we'll see if Fancy wants to try and make something happen. Libero does have a kitty on him. But they don't match here as Steel Wolves looking for a play down toward the spot lane. They want to try and get YJY rolling. Try and get this turret down. Let's see here. 3 members. Oh, they sneak by. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's a bouncy castle. Oh, no. What the Jess? He ends up going too close. Libero, he can't get over the wall. And unfortunately, just gets to safety. Oh, what the Jess? That was ugly.
Yeah, Libero almost entered that cat.
He almost went back into it.
Almost.
He's kind of glad. I think what the Jess is actually really glad that he missed the Q on the first shot
Big
there.
fight might take place because they do have Steel Wolves locked on one side of the map.
Oh, let's see here. Pain in the mid lane. Shadow's taking a decent chunk of his health bar away. Azur's here too with the Karma. Gets out to safety. Here we go, though. Engage can come in from behind. Sly finally uses the ultimate. The rest of the team, though, are trying to walk away. Are they just going to sacrifice the cow at this point? Teleport going to come in from the rest of Win as they continue to go for the engage here. Now Shadow jumps forward. Azur, though, gets to safety off the kick. And Pain wants to rejoin, but he Valkyries away. But meanwhile, you got YJY, who's still so well behind. Libero gets taken down. Arhedge wants to fight, gets one, looking for the second, and he'll find it. A double kill onto the Aatrox. And now the rest of the team slowly falling. Pain's trying to get back to safety. They're diving him underneath tower. Arhedge gets taken down. What the hell did I just watch?
Okay, Fish. What?
What? Do you want to play this game right now? It's called What Went Wrong. Okay, pick a player. Pick any player you want. Just tell me. Pick one.
Azure. Let's go.
All right, Azure, he's on Karma. Why is he rotating from the mid lane towards the jungle? He should be behind his team, giving them shields and throwing out empowered Qs to stop their path through the damn jungle. You know what the best thing about Azure is? He was the one that did the least wrong in that fight. He actually played it okay.
He got to safety for a little bit.
And it's only him and Arhedge that I can say that about. Because Arhedge cleaned up that fight. He played it fairly decently. Look at this. Azure's actually going to try and pull back and kill.
Oh, here we go. Tether's going to connect there, so Shadow's going to be rooted. He could try and use that Shroud, but they know exactly where he is. Doesn't have ultimate to get back to safety. Actually, he does have flawless execution. Cataclysm also being used here. Shadow's going to escape. And oh boy, Steel Wolves, what is going wrong today? They're going to continue here. Shadow does have it. Here comes Pain over the wall. He says, I'm putting an end to this.
Nope. It literally they just took 5 people to try and take down Shadow.
They used package for that.
They paid a lot of resources for that takedown.
They got him in a turret. I mean, sloppy, but they still got it.
Yeah. Good enough. And there's no objectives on top lane as well since it's only 60 minutes. So
Going back to that fight, though.
Okay.
What about Libero for you, Fish?
Oh, Libero. Oh! All right. Do you want before the fight started or when it was? Let's just jump straight into the fight, okay? Let's ignore what happened before, okay? Lee Sin going in, targets at 20 hit points, okay? And he just kicks him away. He's like, there you go, get back to safety. And then as the rest of the team's retreating, like, okay, we can't get a kill. You know what he decides to do? Let me hit the blast cone and go back in.
Oh, comes by, though, and gets themselves a quick and easy pickup onto YJY. Arhedge getting knocked back over toward the tower. It's going to be a double kill for the Lee Sin in response. And maybe looking for a little bit more, but they're not going to continue with the dive.
And you know what? Yumi finally doing something she couldn't do in that team fight, which is throw the ultimate in the correct direction. All right? It's a straight shot. Big cone damage. You throw it straight in front of you to hit the champions, not 90 degrees to the side, okay? It's not like a crescent blade strike or something. Come on!
I love
Mechanics.
the English stream.
Oh, look at Vansu. He's looking for a play here. He's spot out by wards, though. So.
Go home! You got nothing left to take in this mid lane.
I gotta also have a bit of a highlight here for Azure. His farm game has been suffering at this point. Still only at 98 CS. They're going to get at least Arhedge up toward this top lane. They got 3 members. So Pain, he's starting to get pretty big on that Corki. But meanwhile, bot lane, Win is like, we don't care. We like turrets.
That's the correct response from Win. I think the only way you can play that aggressive as Arhedge is if you have another point on the map to attack. And Win were attacking bottom lane. Like, as much as the memes stay around mid lane and poke at the turret and get nothing for it, it's true, but they did rotate bottom lane. They got the bottom lane inner turret in trade for a kill, which is a strict win for Win.
Right, and that would give him so much for the mid-game advantage for map control as well. But for the early game, though, Steel Wolves manages to get 3 of the Drakes already for
look
the
at this,
first
though.
18 minutes.
Teleport coming in from behind. Steel Wolves had to respond here. Shadow wants to try and go for a play. They immediately just jump on to YJY and take him down. Sly tries to interrupt, but Shadow was the one with the flank, and he's going to pick up another kill.
Did not look like the 3 Drakes helped them just yet.
You know what? The 3 Drakes are nice, but when you're 5,000 gold behind, they're not going to do much.
Oh, Pain. He's trying to get a little sneaky there.
Oh my god, it's going to be like 3v5 and tower dive, and it might be over if they actually try to defend this for Steel Wolves.
They can't. No,
It's
Steel Wolves
still,
Yeah,
cannot.
they can't defend
It's
it.
early in the game, but like we mentioned, at this point here, Pain's got to be so careful. If that prowling projectile actually connected, likely would have had to Explode Summoner that he did not have. And now Vansu's on the wrong side of the map. Trying to go back here. Gets the flag drag. Might get to safety. He's got Azure and Pain nearby. YJY as well. Steel Wolves.
Steel Wolves just need to now decide where we're putting up our last stand. Is it going to be when Win try to take Baron? Is it going to be at our first inhibitor? Is it going to be at Nexus turrets? Because as much as it's only 6,000 gold, but very early into the game, so that 6,000 gold is a big lead for Win to have. And they dominate the map and they control the map very well. Just curious to see where their last stand's going to be. They are posturing very aggressively, so I feel that they want to try and take a fight around Baron. But knowing Win would probably force a pick before they go anywhere towards that objective. Kane, he walked over a ward.
He said, Vanzu, you can get it. Come on, that's how it works in solo queue, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think. No, that's how it works at the Thai broadcast too, right?
Okay.
Like, hey, I mean, he's trying to be a nice guy and giving some resources to the Jarvan as well.
Just giving Vansu the free resource of a ward while he could be doing something else on the map. That's right. It's not like at the same time Pain was taking that entire top lane wave, right? You know, resources. Oh.
And it's also, too,
what a nice guy.
Now that Shadow's picked up 3 kills, he's got Morello's. He's also got the Hextech Gunblade. No one can really match him in a lane if he goes for a split push at this point.
Yeah.
Like, for Steel Wolves, you look at your composition. You can't be getting engaged on here. Libero going to kick back, almost finding the multi-man knockup, but YJY is going to be taken down, and that was the target.
Slide just decided to headbutt Lee Sin even further backwards, so he's just like, well, that's fine. I'm just now going to kick your main carry into my entire team. Thank you for the repositioning, Mr. Cow.
And now it's just going to be a nightmare for Steel Wolves because Baron Nashor is already up, and they already zoned everything out for Win eSports. Now, it's just a matter of fact that if they going to decide to do the Baron or not.
They should. This is the best time for Win to try and take Baron while they have a sizable lead for themselves and the main carry for Steel Wolves is down. If Steel Wolves try to contest this, it's going to be a disaster. Kalista can't get to that fight anytime soon. There is a good ward on the south side of the pit here, but look at this Win even splitting up the team, getting Libero and Kagame in there for damage, whilst everyone else is looking to try and disrupt the rest of the squad.
Pain.
Might have bought enough time for YJY to get back into this fight because they don't do enough damage to Baron.
Oh, True Shot Barrage landing onto the Corki forces out the Valkyrie, but that will stop the Baron from being taken here by Win. So your Steel Wolves are pretty happy, but you can't lose any members here or it was all for naught. Arhedge going to pop the ultimate. You have one being used in response here. Sly wants to go in onto the engage, jumps in. It's just going to be a bouncy castle, but they already took down the Jarvan, and they're going to follow up on through. Rendo is going to save YJY in time, but the rest of the team is falling before him. Spellbook being used there by the Yuumi, and that's going to be a double kill. They're going to keep on going at this point.
Game's over now. They're just going to try and hunt down Azure, get that kill on towards Karma. And 5 members of Steel Wolves dead. They've got minions inside the base. They could very well push for the win.
Well, they got themselves 2 minions up in this top lane, but going to have to wait on that next minion wave.
Oh, they didn't take the turret, so they can't really push for the win.
Well, you know, they could want to make sure, right? They might just want to make sure just to take the inhibitor, take it slow, go back for, you know, some items, and come back to zone Baron again.
You know, you get that in him. You're going to get the super minions in. But you take a look at that gold graph. You don't really care. Oh, no, that's Sly. Don't stop the Akali. The Akali will hurt you. She has a lot more gold than you. You are literally half her gold total right now, Sly. You will get ripped apart and turned into a juicy burger.
And look who the 2 players that have the highest gold in this game.
As expected.
Shadow and Libero. 2 LDL players.
Right, very trustworthy players, you know, 2 of them.
Well, even then, like, Shadow, like, for all intents and purposes, early on, like, you know, Shadow was having a rough time. But still, once again, waited for those team fights. It's kind of what we saw on his Aatrox last week as well. He had a little bit of a rough early game. But then, when it came to the fights, knows what he needs to do. We saw the teleport also come into that mid lane. That's really what opened up the rest of the map here for Win at that point. It's pretty much the custom here. Shadow and Libero, even when they're put down early, they don't tilt out. They don't give up.
I'm also thinking if Azure had more CS,
Yeah.
he's behind by so much in a lane that he was winning. So they had more CS here. They've been much closer fight topside.
Yeah, like those 2 kills in the early game didn't matter that much if you look in CS-wise and just, you know, matter of just the laning phase.
It's also the effectiveness, too, of that gold. That gold is mainly going to be used on the more supportable utility items when it comes to that Karma as well, whereas that Akali, she wants to literally rip you apart at this point.
And we could see that in the bottom lane when they tried to gank her with all 5 men.
Yeah, if you're... Oh, Vanzu, you can't get caught out here. Sly is nearby. Sly, just walk away. You don't need to go forward. Honestly, if you're Steel Wolves right now, you're waiting at least for one more item to get onto YJY. He's trying to farm as much as he can at this point. He did get the Rage Blade. You'd like to get another attack speed item onto that Callista, but it might be just too late because, you know, Win, they're just going to go ahead and start up this Baron once again. And Shadow could probably zone out this team.
Yeah, now they're just casually opening Baron, initiating that. Shadow's gonna stop everyone, literally. Just gonna stop everybody from Steel Wolves to enter the Baron pit.
Here, Vansu wants to get over. Sly is nearby. Azor is here, but there's only 3 members of the squad, and man, Vansu's taking a lot of damage from that Yuumi. Jumps into the pit, but immediately gets taken down. Rest of the team trying to steal it away, but unfortunately for Steel Wolves, they need to start running immediately as Sly and now YJY, they get themselves into a little bit of a tussle here between Shadow, but immediately get just hammered home.
That's game.
That should be it. 23-11 here. Win now with Baron. They're going to look to add on to their kill totals, but we see a teleport into the base already.
It's going to be over so soon because I don't think Azure is going to be able to go back in time. And, yep, 3
He's
men.
teleporting in to try and see if he can save that one, but not going to happen. Teleports come in from Win. They're going to be able to take down this Nexus.
And after a, you know, almost a nice-looking early game here for Steel Wolves, Win, they say, we're playing League of Legends. Clean up game 1, 26 minutes.
Yeah, it was sloppy in the beginning, but Win were just able to play towards the playstyle we expect from them. I think once they got Rift Herald and just took the double turret, that was when they were like, okay, that's what works for us. Let's not deviate from that anymore. On the game.
Yeah, they were just giving up on the early on where they try to pay resources down to the bot lane. And they're just like, you know what? No.
You know the scene from The Lion King when Mufasa takes up, you know, the cub and like lifts him up? The very opening scene. Wait,
Wait, did you just call the monkey Mufasa?
Oh, that's right. Wrong one.
What?
Rafiki. That's what they did with Kagame there. They were like, all right, this is your game. And they were like, nah. And it didn't work. They were like, well, you know what, Kagame? Get out of here. You're gone. And then they just went back to being
back to
lions
Shadow Libero.
Yeah.
Well, if it works, don't fix it at that point. We've seen it before, too. Like, Shadow, rough game, but still was ahead in CS when it came to the lane. Like, Azure, he's on a karma. There's only so much he's going to be able to do.
I was very surprised that Azure fell behind so far in CS in the lane like that, because he was so far ahead. Very early gank coming up from Java and should have set him up for success top side. But it seems like Steel Wolves only planned for the first few minutes of the game. And once they executed that, which they executed well, there wasn't anything else. Because they got that kill, and then it's just like, well, now what? You sacrificed a lot of resources to get this kill. What's your next step? And it didn't seem like they had one. YJY did very well into Kagame in the bottom lane. They got a natural lead bottom side of the map, even though a lot of ganks were thrown there by Win. But I just didn't see a game plan coming out from Steel Wolves, whereas Win were just able to use that 2 duo from the top lane and jungle to wreak havoc across the map.
Right, I think it's also lead back to what Opal mentioned, where the resources given to Karma was also for, instead of damage like Akali, it was also for utility-wise, right?
Utility.
So, yeah, so...
And it gets to that point, too, where Shadow is going to get into a split push threat, and no one on the side of Steel Wolves would be able to match him. We didn't even get to see that point there, because they don't really even play that style. It's Shadow Libero roaming around, causing havoc, going for those teleport flanks and looking for kills.
Right.
Yeah, just grouping up for kills. They don't really need split push. Which fight was this? Was this the fight where they peeled off? Yeah, this is the fight where they peeled off Baron. This is just Steel Wolves, you know, trying to test their luck. YJY is coming back out of base, but they had no vision over this Baron, so and no real way for them to push in. And I really dislike how far apart they've split up here, because that's a big package being burnt and wasted. Pain's already at half hit points. Baron's reset here. They don't need to push forward. This is where Steel Wolves can just place down a couple of wards and get vision for themselves, but then they get collapsed upon in the choke point. And Vance is just like, I'm stepping up, team. Where's team? Dead.
But you can't soak up any more damage from that Aatrox as well.
Oh, yeah, no, and especially because Sly there, he was held in the Callista ultimate for a very long time. He actually decided not to go out until towards, you know, the end of the engage that was coming out there from the side of Win. Not a whole lot they could do, though, because you're already down 8,000 gold at this point.
Yeah, they were down too far. They were too far behind at that point, but it's just more of they don't know what they want from that. Like, I think the sole purpose of pushing out to red buff there is don't let them take Baron. And as soon as Alistar puts the control ward into Baron Pit, that's where you say, they're not taking Baron. They now have to clear a 4-hit control ward before they can even start, which gives us a good 15 seconds to react. So, job's done. Get the heck out of the jungle, clear the wards along the way, and then push out mid and top lane so you have lane priority, forcing Win back into lanes away from that dangerous objective. But instead, they go, we got the ward, what now? And then Vansu and YJY are like, we can fight. And the rest of the team's like, no, we can't do it anymore.
No.
We got no package,
Well,
we're behind.
On top of that, too, like, they put all their eggs mainly into this Corki and Kalista at that point, too. And YJY, like, we've seen him on his Kalista when he's at, like, peak performance, you know, got 10 kills. He only got 2 kills in lane and, you know, a little bit of CS here. He wasn't a giant Kalista at that point either, and he could easily get bursted down. So maybe, you know, not knowing their exact limits here, just as it would be, and trying to really force it. Take a look at that damage total. Shadow. Woo, woo.
Even the Yuumi, 12k. Like, the Yuumi does the exact same amount. I mean, almost exact same as Real and Aatrox, which is kind of impressive.
More than the Lee Sin.
More than the
Now,
Lee Sin,
to be fair, we saw multiple instances, though, that Libero didn't actually have to use his abilities to get into the backline. He would get placed into a perfect position sometimes.
Yeah.
We saw that a lot of team fight mistakes, I think, really what caused Steel Wolves.
Yeah, communication needs to be, like, I think you need to reflect on communication as well, because there was one instant and bot lane. Oh, but here, the MVP.
I don't care if Libero getting MVP had a few good kicks. I would have given it to Shadow.
Yeah.
100% given it to Shadow. I think Shadow had a standout game on Akali. But Libero was one of the key instigators of those fights and getting the picks set up for him as well. But it's just another game, and it happens every week of Win have won based off their early game strategy and the fact that they just win their lanes.
Yeah.
And that's how they won that game. And I like the teams are starting to realize they need to craft something to try and beat Win. In this case, they were trying to attack the top side of the map with some really forced ganks. And it was nice. It was looking well for Steel Wolves, but they need more than just a, this is what we start with. They need a full plan of, after that, we do this. And after that, we do that.
Yeah, you need the next step there, because you need to get that advantage and then put it elsewhere on the map here. Because YJY and them, they did all right in that bot lane. They were doing fine. You had yourself a couple kills. You need, like, it. Maybe here in Game 2, they could try that strategy again, but actually look to try and make something up.
I think it will be better if it was in a Karma top. You know, if you put all the resources there on on someone who could potentially snowball or do something much better with the, you know, that resource, it might work.
Yeah. We'll have to see here. Of course, that's going to be Win going up 1-0 in our series. But of course, we still have at least another game to play because Win need to go for a 2-0. So we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, of course, it is going to be Game 2 of our first set of the night.